Alright folks, and welcome back to Real Steel. Alright, today's mission, we're dragging out the T9 Trackson boom crane. And this one's a personal favorite of mine. We're about to dive into doing a clutch job, but for right now we're going to do a walk around and a fire up. But first, let's get it out so we can actually work on it. Alright, we got her drug out. So this right here is a 1942 International Harvester T9, which is a gas model of a TD9 crawler that's been converted by the Trackson company into a swing crane. These were purposely built for the Navy to handle munitions and other sorts of ordnance during World War II. And oftentimes, a lot of them never actually made it to the government contracts because by the time they actually made it there, their use was no longer needed. So they ended up at international harvester dealerships across the nation and ended up getting dispersed. And a lot of them, like this one, ended up going to use in the pipeline world. So this one personally was used local here, and they used it basically to set water lines, water mains. So as they went through town, digging, they would have this following, setting, their steel water lines as they were welding it together. So this one came from another local outfit, and we're happy to have it in our collection, and it was stuck solid when we brought it home. The cylinders were rusted solid. Number 3 and 4 were almost unsalvageable. So I had to pull the head, hone the cylinders out, got it pressed free, cleaned everything all out, honed everything out so it was nice and smooth and cleaned up, redid the entire top end, rethreaded all the holes, all the studs, all the bolts, new gaskets, you name it. This thing, I dove in way deeper. Come to find out, all of the clutches are stuck. So that's the next project, and that's actually what we're about to dive into. But for the time being, let's do a quick walk around. I'll do a little bit of explaining, and then we'll fire it up. All right, you'll see it's in the stowed position right here. This is how you would drive it around and maneuver it. The boom actually goes up, and it goes 180 degrees off to the right and to the left. You'll see these safety bars were welded on because there's no brake for the swing. So if you had a load on there and you weren't completely level or you didn't have a stable footing, the boom would swing around on you. And if you weren't paying attention with the clutch to know how to counteract it, it could be dangerous. So they actually put these on to protect the operator, which I want to put it back 100% original, but I think I'm going to leave that feature because I kind of got a history around here. Anyhow, these were meant for use on tarmac and other flat surfaces, so you'll notice street pads. That's actually kind of a unique feature on any International Harvester crawler because that was not a popular feature that they actually would market. Standard T9 crawler undercarriage. It's been extended to a 5-roller bottom versus a 4-roller, which would be the standard of a TD9, TD6, TD14, etc. So this is, instead of having like an agricultural setup on the undercarriage, they added one more roller, lengthened it, and made it a rigid frame. And that's for industrial application. So that way it keeps it from nosing down when you're using the crane. So no leaf spring going across there, makes for a rougher than hell ride, but it adds the stability to actually utilize the crane to its proper potential. Crane's rated for 4,000 pounds. I don't know how much of that I trust. We'll see. We're gonna make it run and make it work. The engine runs beautiful now that we've gone through and had to rebuild everything. But now it's time to rebuild the clutches, both steering and main clutch. Fortunately though, the clutches for the crane seem to all function. So I think relatively simple. It's just gonna be a lot of freeing up, working on getting chains freed up. As you can see, there's the winches here that run everything, and it's all gear driven and run off of what's basically a giant motorcycle chain. And of course, it sat by the coast, so everything's rusted solid. This thing was a solid brick when we brought it home. The tracks didn't spin, it didn't roll, it didn't run, engine didn't spin over, couldn't even get it in or out of gear. Since then, we've got all the gears shifting through fine, engine's running beautiful, and it's been about 6 months since we've run it. I just tossed a hot battery and some gas in it. Currently running it off a test tank till I get the main tank cleaned, which will happen when we pull it apart to do the clutches, which hopefully, if all goes as planned in the next couple of weeks, I'd like to have this thing going by the fall to utilize it for some other projects that we got coming down the pipeline. All right, let's see what we can do here. As you can see, I already got the clutch plate off. Got a lot of work to do to get this thing up to snuff. But for a tractor that was stuck solid, it runs pretty good. Nice clean stack. Don't have a ton of gas in it, so we'll see how long it runs for. And here you got the controls for the boom, for the winch and the swing. Sorry, this is for your swing. This is for your main up and down on the boom, and this is for up and down on the cable. At least that's the best of what I can tell. And then there's a main clutch, you know, over yonder. So that's that bar that's sitting basically right there. That's your main clutch that controls all the crane controls. And then the vertical clutch is what controls the tractor controls as well as the crane controls. So a lot of redundancy here, which it needs because these things are terrifying. So I'm sorry, it's not rated for 4,000 pounds. Load charge states 3,500 pounds at 10 foot out. I can't wait to get this thing operational. This one fills the gaps. So as you can see in the background over here, I am a fan of International Harvester crawlers. I'm actually a fan of all of them, but primarily, you know, trying to collect all of the different series of all the different brands. But that's my international lineup, well, part of it anyhow. But the goal is every version of the T-Series crawlers from a T6 all the way on up. I've got a T6 through the TD14. So TD18 and a TD24, and that ought to polish that side off real easy. And then it's time to finish the collection of Caterpillar D2s. Yeah, that's for another series. We'll go through all the different varieties and versions and whatnot. But for right now, today's main focus, this here T9. This is one I lusted after for many years, and you know, no one was doing anything with it, and I ended up trading out a machine that was better suited for their mission, and this is better suited for ours, so it worked out for all parties involved. And we're still going to bring it around for their events and do some demonstrations once we get it operational. But yeah, I got a lot of work ahead of me. Everything's rusted solid. Thank you for joining along today on our little, we're going to call this a shallow dive into the T9 project. As we progress, I'm going to try to get some footage. This one's going to be more in-depth, hands-on restoration work. Basically show you kind of what it takes to get one of these things from solid brick of rust to functioning operational machine. And I don't know, we'll see if we dive into cosmetics on this one or not. But my priority right now is make this thing mechanically sound so we can use it here in the yard. As you can tell, I got my hands full. A lot of iron to move around. This thing, absolutely invaluable for pulling motors and whatnot. And that's going to come in handy for another one we got coming down the pipeline, a real rare Caterpillar. So we'll more on that to come. But for right now, this is going to be our next deep dive. So stay tuned, folks. Let us know what you think. You know, tell your friends, tell your family. Tell us what you want to see. Hey, see something in the background? Let's do a special on it. I know a couple people were talking about the Power Wagon and mentioned that. I'm actually going to drag it out of mothballs here in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned, keep your eyes peeled for that one. But for right now, this is where we're at, and thank you for following along. Thank you everyone for your support so far. We're at 121 followers, I believe, as of today. So we're digging it. So keep telling it, you know, telling everybody about us. Keep showing the love. We're really stoked. We're hyped to, you know, bring history back alive again and share it with the world. So